Today, I want to share why presence outperforms any marketing tactics in 2025. Because this entire concept actually transformed my business when I stopped chasing conventional marketing tactics. You know, when you look at traditional marketing, for example, it was all about, in summary, shifting someone's belief, showcasing results, convincing people to pull the trigger. And if we look back to 2015, for example, when Facebook ads were popping, probably 2016, 2017, those were the days where ads worked, right? You could make any gigantic claim, put an irresistible offer on the front end, and then magically people would click the buy button because there was so little going on, right? But now, people are so much more sophisticated nowadays. They see through that sort of polished performance, the classic big captions and the claims. And I think, in 2025, the most valuable asset you have is not your marketing funnel. And I know that's a little bit unconventional, but I think the most valuable asset you have is your own capacity to hold genuine space, to hold a container where people come to see you, because we live in a world now where it's so saturated, everybody's optimizing for algorithms, retention and all of that stuff. And I've been told that my tiny little YouTube channel shows people my vibe, shows people character. One of my most profitable assets have been actual free or paid workshops because I've been optimizing for presence, being able to hold that space. That's why the workshops have become my highest converting assets. And what I used to do is, if I'm creating something for my existing clients inside Modern Maker, my program, I might just offer a day pass for $50 to $100 to people who want that information, want that thing, the magic pill, the magic bullet. But they come not to only get the information, they come to get an experience of the container that I create. And it almost acts like a pre-buying or prerequisite experience to what the bigger thing is, right? So I always tell my students, instead of taking a lead to a client by getting on a sales call and all of that, I actually haven't done sales calls since 2023 because I do these $50 to $100 once-off workshops and allow someone to truly feel that true and real experience of what it's like, even if it's just an hour, right? In that hour together, they get to feel the depth or the presence that I hold in a room or anybody else that does something similar. And that is something no sales page can convey, no follow-up can convey, no outbound message can convey, because it is your energy actually in that room holding that space for other people. And when you do hold these workshops, like people have told me, you should charge more for them. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? For me, it's mostly the presence. It's the depth of the container and the experience. And naturally, what happens is people who buy something for $50 to $100 have shown you much higher intentions and interest in what you do, right? So they would come through and naturally ascend into the next level if they want to, of course. Like there's no hard selling, there's no hard pushing. And they do it because they feel the resonance of that true transformation. They've gotten almost like some sort of indoctrination event because they get to feel what it is like for that moment that you share together. Now, I am never gutted when they don't ascend because not all of them do, because they take what they need and they move on. And internally at heart, I always never hold back in those workshops. I treat everyone in that space or in that container as clients for that present moment. And I feel good because I know, even if they don't ascend, I've still shown up fully without any attachment to the end outcome. Because to me, it's not so much about conversion tactics. It's about actually creating that genuine connection that you and the other person can do and feel together in that moment. And I tell, my modern makers that it's not about pushing harder with marketing. It's about embodying that medicine that is within you, that people come to see, the guidance that you provide and the knowledge that they acquire. So, in very simple terms, your own presence is the methodology. It's, your embodiment is that strategy. And a lot of us need to stop spreading ourselves thin, trying to be everywhere, trying to do everything, and start going a little bit deeper with the few who are ready. And, when you host workshops, there's such an energetic shift in what you do and what you're doing. And I'm a firm believer that those tactics from the past are slowly fizzling out because people can smell it, right? They're like, oh, scarcity, it's a fake timer, it's a fake countdown. And the more and more invested we get into marketing, especially the content marketing sector, the bigger the claims and the bigger the lies, and there comes a point where you can't sustain the lie or the lies are outdoing your business. Whereas in my world, at least, I feel strongly that the best way to share what you do is through demonstration. And a lot of people have told me in the past, like, I used to host $1 workshops or completely free workshops. And the thing is if you can show somebody through demonstrating what you do, they'll get that taste and want to ascend. And obviously I have a lot of respect for people like Russell Brunson, people who do webinar funnels and all of that. But it feels to me that those workshops are solely designed to upsell you to the very end where they're going to pitch you that high ticket offer. So it loses that potency. And I always sort of, when I am hosting my own workshops, there is no upbuild. There is no, let me push this thing down your throat and hope that you buy or run ads to this thing. I just make very informal invitations to my email list and treat it for what it is. It's an actual workshops. Whether it's strategy, whether it is energetics or mindset or business or whatever the topic is, usually what I'm doing is, I've actually got my sleeves rolled up now, but as the analogy goes, you roll your sleeves up with those people and you treat it for what it is, which is a workshop, right? You're solving a problem together in that moment, and you make a very simple invitation after for the ones who for the ones who want to ascend to the next tier. And that is essentially what I did the entire 2023 to 24. Each year I would do 12 to 15 workshops. Now, the difference there was I wouldn't create and then get paid. I would get paid to create because back in the day, I used to be a musician, played jazz at weddings and, had to do what a classic artist does, right? Create, play music, write a song, create an album, and then try to market towards this product in hopes that people would buy, and you would only get paid for that creation if somebody bought. This time around, sort of flipping the script and looking at this a little more abundantly has changed the way I serve people, because I have clients, I do things for them anyway, right? Let's say a workshop we did a few months ago was on creating offers through Google Docs. They asked for it. I held that space for them. I was going to do the thing anyway. All I did was open up the doors for proximity from people on my email list to share that hour with us momentarily. Now, the beautiful part about doing that is, as a business owner, right? Like, there's a lot of people who take the leads, put them in a workshop, and then upsell them the traditional way. For me, it's like, whether somebody shows up or nobody shows up, I have that group of clients that will experience that on a regular Tuesday when we host our, client workshops. And then by giving that invitation, I get people to come through the door as guests, and those guests might pay $50, $100, or whatever it is. But now you are getting paid to create that thing, right? So, and most of the times I think of the workshop the day before. So the sales are already running through from people that you've spent hours and hours building trust on, that have followed you. There's no ads to this or anything. And then giving those people an experience. So you might, gain a little bit of leverage for that hour because you've just sold 20 spots for $100. That's $2,000 you never had. That person gets everything that you give them lifetime access to, but you are able to do what you do best by just recycling this asset, right? So for me, it's been an awesome experience because some people have bought 8 workshops before ascending. Some people have bought 12 and never ascended. Some people bought 1 and then ascended. Other people just ascend through content. But this way, at least in my world, I find my greatest strength is being able to hold these spaces and workshop raw, sort of plain concepts. I love doodling with circles, triangles, squares, piecing little problems together, and then allowing for that person to reap that reward. And it's been a sensational sort of effect there, because nowadays, obviously with YouTube, with content, with AI, with all of that stuff, everything is becoming really quick to produce, but people forget that the most scarce asset we have is ourselves. The human touch, the energy around a room. And fortunately, we do have Zoom containers or Google Meets or all of those tools that allow us to be present in that moment with someone. And it changes things around. Now, there's no copywriting principles to shift someone's belief to get them to do this and get them to do that. All you have to do is demonstrate your expertise. And nowadays, because the market is becoming more sophisticated, you sort of allow someone to try your stuff before they buy your stuff. And it's been really, really awesome. So, on that note, being able to hold presence, hold space, I believe will outperform any marketing tactic. And people should optimize for presence over profits, and dig a little bit deeper into the human self, the human psyche, like having people around. And I've seen a lot of people, especially the marketer bros, the sales bros, the hustle bros. It's all about getting new clients through the door. So they're pretty good salespeople, but then when you look backwards, the engine's broken, right? There's a lot of churn. There's a lot of people leaving because they fizzle out. So you are a good salesman, but actually when you focus on an offer people feel stupid to leave from because of the presence, because of the space you hold, because of all of the stuff we discussed today, you can work with a handful of clients and make pretty good money freely from that. Because, what I've found is some of my students, I know them by name, I know their families, I know their backstory, I know everything because they've been with me for 2 to 3 years. And as their business grows, I sort of grow with them. And I think nothing beats that. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. I hope you enjoyed it. You can hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one.